Deputy President, the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, CS present, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, good morning. I'm Jambo. I am truly, truly grateful to have this moment, to have this conversation and to participate in this great celebration. Somebody has not posted my speech here properly, but in any case, let me deal with it in a different way. And that's why I am delighted this morning to join you today to celebrate 2 decades of the National Government Constituency Development Fund, an initiative that has been timely, inspired, and transformative in our nation's development journey. Let me celebrate my friend, Engineer Karue. Tumpigie makofi jamani. It is true that when we came to Parliament, Keti Mheshimiwa, when we came to Parliament, and we were sworn in 2008, 1998. There was no CDF in that, I think, 9th Parliament. Was that 8th Parliament? There was no CDF. And the salary was 17,000 Kenya shillings. So just imagine what that looked like. Salary was 17,000 and you don't have CDF. And we still ran constituencies. That's why Engineer Karue will go down in the annals of history as a person of great foresight. And with many of us who were in Parliament with him, and I'm very proud that I became part of the members in the 9th Parliament that saw to it that this Constituency Development Fund, then now NG-CDF, came to be. Initially known as the Constituency Development Fund, this fund was born out of a strategic reflection of development needs and has evolved to address our citizens' needs effectively in every part of the Republic of Kenya. It's crucial to recall that the NG-CDF originated in response to historical development disparities and a significant gap between projects conceptualized, designed, and implemented by government entities and the experiences, needs, and expectations of grassroots people. The mission was clear: to rectify decades of neglect that had marginalized vast segments of our nation, particularly in remote and arid and semi-arid regions, by fostering grassroots involvement in development initiatives. It is not an exaggeration to state that the advent of NG-CDF finally delivered the framework which addressed the hopes and yearnings of people of Kenya for inclusive development, social justice, equity, and prosperity, which had eluded various policies and interventions starting with Sessional Paper number 10 of 1965 on African socialism, and development programs and decentralization strategies like the District Forecast for Rural Development in 1983. Finally, CDF came to sort out the gap that existed between plans, government interventions, government initiatives, and the aspirations of people at the grassroots. Engineer Karue has explained to us very well the disconnect that always was there. And the standard answer in Parliament was, this and this is going to happen, and members used to ask questions, and it was a ritual that ended up with when funds become available. And the funds never became available as it was. The Constituency Development Fund Act of 2003 marked a significant turning point in our approach to development. Drawing lessons from the past, its pioneers recognized that true development begins from the bottom up, with communities owning and driving development projects based on the understanding of their localities. And if there is a program that is truly bottom up, it is CDF. It cannot be bottom up better than what CDF is, because it's about grassroots, it's about localities, it's about specifics, it's about local people understanding their needs, prioritizing what they think is urgent and is emergency and is necessary, and finding solutions using a fund that they control. Subsequent enhancement, as reflected in various amendments, have fortified the NG-CDF Act as a vital tool for national development. It empowers local communities to partake in resource allocation and project prioritization, thereby democratizing the development process. When we talk about democratizing development process, it's those people in that village that they decide that we want to build a school here, that our priority is extra classrooms, that our priority is this project, and them realizing that dream because they made the decision. That is how development becomes democratized. By allocating funds directly to constituencies, the NG-CDF also confers citizens at the grassroots with resources and autonomy to meet their unique development needs with minimal bureaucracy, delays, waste, or inefficiencies. To put this in context, the NG-CDF National Board cannot spend more than 5% of allocated funds on their administrative functions and must disburse at least 95% to the constituencies, where 94% of allocated funds are channeled directly into local development projects, which are overseen by project management committees composed of local people. And I am told some of them are in this audience, you know, local people, you know, and that is how this should be. Only 6% is devoted to administrative and recurrent expenditure. I know the chairman here has asked me to consider some allowances. Mr. Chairman, I don't want to lie to you, that is very difficult. It's very difficult. Because we are focused as a country. Today, out of the 2.2 billion Kenya shillings we collect, salaries, allowances, and those things take 1.1 trillion of the 2.2 trillion. 47% of all the money we collect from Kenyans pays salaries, allowances for only 1 million people out of 50 million people. I think the focus we should have, and I'm talking to leaders because members of parliament are among the most senior leaders in Kenya, that we must focus on how the other 49 million Kenyans can also have a job. And that is why the CDF has been amended, and I want to thank Parliament, the National Assembly specifically, for amending CDF so that we can provide job opportunities in the digital space through our ICT hubs. Members, I want you to listen to me very carefully. You have an opportunity to get 300, 1,000, 5,000 people working in your constituency. You have an opportunity today to influence through NG-CDF opportunities to be available in every ward in the Republic of Kenya. The amendment that has been made, and I was following very keenly, and we have now provided regulations on how this is going to happen. You have an opportunity to use the NG-CDF now to construct ICT hubs. The government of Kenya, we are going to deliver fiber optic. We are going to deliver teachers and trainers. We are going to deliver computers in your ICT hubs. And you have the opportunity to mobilize young people in every ward to participate in this space, get jobs under our digital program, and make a difference in your constituency. I don't know whether members of parliament understand the opportunity that is available to them. I am informed that only 91 constituencies have actually made proposals for their ICT hubs. I am asking myself, the other 200, or what, how many? 199. What is going on in their heads? I mean, surely, friends, I mean, what we are asking you is, those people who woke up very early to vote for you and they don't have a job, they have given you a job, you have a salary. You now have an opportunity kurudisha mkono. Please. Na mkiendelea namna hii nitawashtaki. Yeah? Those people, you now have an opportunity through this program to also get 200, 300, 400, 1,000 of them to also earn an income and also become part of the economy of Kenya. CDF is very important. The efficient allocation model has significantly improved the visibility and impact of NG-CDF projects nationwide. It also provides useful guidance on the resolve with which we must confront the monster of unnecessary expenditure in order to direct maximum resources to development. And that is why I have said by 2027, we must have reduced our recurrent expenditure from 47% at the moment to 35%. Let me ask you, if it is possible for CDF to spend only 6% or 5% on administration, why would we not spend 65% on development and 35% on recurrent? CDF has already demonstrated to us that it is doable, and therefore that should be our strategic focus. Today, NG-CDF stands as a testament to the power of a people-driven development agenda and the government's commitment to inclusive and democratic development. It has also become a reliable source of support for essential sectors such as education, health, and security. Through NG-CDF, 3,087 new schools have been established countrywide, 1,369 primary and 1,718 secondary schools across Kenya. By building accommodation facilities, the NG-CDF has also facilitated access to basic education for close to 900,000 learners and enhanced transition rates to secondary schools. It has also reduced the distance covered by learners and lowered the school construction financing burden on parents. Additionally, the NG-CDF provides about 15 billion shillings every year towards bursary schemes, benefiting an average of 1.2 million deserving learners from poor backgrounds. I want to encourage members. As you are all aware, we have changed the bursary or the model of funding of both our TVETs and our universities. And it is because we must be honest. We committed as government that we are going to provide 80% scholarship. We did not, because the resources were not there. We provided 40%. And for almost 10 years, our universities and TVETs almost ground to a halt. In fact, they had ended up with bills upwards of 60 billion. Some of the universities did not even have money to pay salaries. Imagine, universities were paying half salary for lecturers because we had a dysfunctional model. I'm very happy that we are now engaging with universities. Under our new model, we have some revision to do in certain areas. We are working with universities, but I want to say that model is now responsive. And I want to urge members to disburse the CDF bursaries in a way that the most vulnerable benefit. That is the model that we have also adopted. I mean, there are parents, like those of us seated here. Why would we want to give the child of Rigathi Gachagua or William Ruto 80% bursary at the university? When we have been paying 200,000 per term in the secondary schools. I mean, it's dishonest, you know? And then in the process, we make children of even the poor people to miss out on education. So we have changed the model. Children of people like myself and the members of parliament here, we will give you scholarship of 20%. Hiyo ingine, ujipange hapo ulipe. Sindio? Yes, so that we take more money to the children of the people who deserve it. So, nimesikia wabunge wengine wanapiga kelele, sijui namna gani. Hapana, hiyo story si mzuri. Nyinyi lipeni pesa ya watoto wenu, na mimi pia nilipe. Wacha ile pesa ya serikali, tusaidie wale watoto wa wale watu wako, wale wametupigia kura, tuwasaidie hao. Further, the NG-CDF has entered into a collaborative framework with the Ministry of Education to support the establishment of teacher training institutes, and I have opened some of them. So far, 155 TTIs have benefited from this collaboration. And I want to assure members here that we have now gotten approval to equip another 70 technical training colleges around Kenya. I know members of parliament, most of them have been to my office, some of them have asked in different meetings when we are going to equip some of those TVETs. I now want to confirm to you that it will happen very shortly. In a similar partnership with the Kenya Medical Training College, the NG-CDF has established 61 Kenya Medical Training Colleges campuses across Kenya and provided resources to improve infrastructure in 14 existing campuses, as a result of which the total capacity has increased by 13,500 students. And you know the importance of the health sector, especially in the context of our universal health coverage. We will need additional healthcare workers across Kenya. In the health sector, the NG-CDF, through a partnership with the National Health Insurance Fund, has been financing health insurance premiums for 27,870 vulnerable households annually, leading to significant enhancement access to high-quality healthcare for disadvantaged Kenyans, in line with our universal health coverage aspirations under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Regarding security, the NG-CDF has provided funds for construction and repair of national government administrative premises, including offices, police stations and posts, and staff housing. The fund has also financed high-mast security lighting in low-income and informal settlements, leading to significant reduction in incidences of crime in these areas. I am delighted to confirm that the digital superhighway strategy pillar of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda has received a direct boost from the NG-CDF, which has contributed to the establishment of at least 116 constituency innovation hubs. Additionally, The fund, as I have said, will support the establishment of 1,450 digital hubs, one in every ward in Kenya. And let me say the following, members. I have told the board, Mr. Olago Aluoch is here and his team, that we must prioritize constituencies that have given us a program on ICT hubs. Let them receive approval of their constituencies first. We must also target the other areas that are critical to our development as a country. I do not take the support of NG-CDF for granted. The readiness of the NG-CDF to support pro-people development projects is a continuing demonstration of its radical vision for the empowerment of communities in order to drive inclusive growth and give every Kenyan an opportunity to thrive and contribute to our nation's prosperity, regardless of their circumstances or background. This is a good opportunity to express my profound appreciation to our National Assembly for decisively rallying to the cause of climate action through the NG-CDF Amendment Act 2023, which amended the law to increase the ceiling of permissible allocation by constituencies towards climate action from 2% to 5%. As you're all aware, we are confronting the ruthless impact of climate change in the form of severe and devastating flooding in numerous parts of the country, which has followed swiftly after one of the longest and severest drought in recent history. By promoting the employment of local contractors, suppliers, and labor, as well as the utilization of local materials, the NG-CDF enhances inclusion and stimulates local economic activity, leading to employment and wealth creation around Kenya. Project management by committees chosen from the local community leads to continuous social monitoring of project implementation and high-level ownership, which enhances their sustainability. The principles and aspirations which have animated our quest for inclusive development and the democratization of our economy have survived many years of determined struggle and remain alive today. Foremost is Article 10.2, as well as Chapter 11 of the Constitution. The Constituency Development Fund Framework was a successful pilot project. By responding to feedback and incorporating continuous learning, the NG-CDF has evolved into a popular and effective mechanism for impactful local development and service delivery. The presence of the pioneers of NG-CDF, led by my good brother, Honorable Senator Muriuki Karue, is highly appreciated because it gives us a chance to appreciate, thank, and celebrate them for their visionary leadership, bold and innovative approach to development, and exemplary service. It also reminds me of the wonderful work we were able to do through CDF in my time as a member of the National Assembly. Many will remember that my constituency was awarded several times for the best use of funds. I say that very proudly, and I say that to contextualize and so that every member of parliament here understands that CDF is a very important instrument for intervening on locally developed priorities at the grassroots. And because you hold that instrument, it is sacrosanct. And I promise you, members, you don't need anything else. If you use CDF properly, you will be re-elected. Just that. Because CDF puts at your disposal close to 600 million in your term of 5 years. Friends, with 600 million, if you cannot win an election, then you have, wewe ni bure kabisa. I mean, surely. Ati mtu tu ametoka huko, amefanya ukarabati, mpaka amekufukuza. Na umekuwa na 600 million, unaenda hapa unatangaza shule, unaenda hapo unatangaza, alafu unashindwa. And I want to say this without fear of any contradiction. Any member of parliament who presides over the misappropriation of CDF or the theft of CDF should never be elected. They should never be elected because it is the ultimate betrayal of the people who elected you. The people of Kenya have elected you, you have a salary of $1 million. And then the money that is meant for the bursary of the children, the money that is meant for the education of their children, ati wewe umeenda kuhangaika naye hapo mpaka ikapotea. Hapana. Hapana. Wacha tuambiane tu kweli. Mtu kama huyo afukuzwe kabisa na mapema. And therefore I want to say, this is where the seeds of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda were sown. And that is why I believe in bottom-up, because I could see the transformation CDF was making in local communities. As we celebrate this milestone, we must also recognize the challenges we have faced, including legal hurdles that require legislative responses to align the fund with constitutional imperatives. Our journey continues with a commitment to refine and adapt our strategies, ensuring that NG-CDF remains a beacon of sustainable and equitable development. Let me say this in closing. Those of us who are in the 9th Parliament, and my friend Ekwe Thuro was there with us and all the other people, yeah? We had the privilege of participating in the house that eventually brought CDF to be. And we are very proud of that moment. That's why we celebrate Karua and all the other people. Because this was the beginning of realization by local people in every part of Kenya of their aspirations that they could participate in meaningful development and decision-making and eventually see development that they have participated in canvassing. You, as the 13th Parliament, you have the single opportunity to make sure that CDF becomes constitutional. And if there is one thing you must do for this fund, and I say so because you know how much we have been dodging, legal hurdles from all manner of people. And the cure, that's why when I came into office, I wrote to Parliament and I gave you 5 aspects that I think will assist us as a country to consolidate our democracy and our development paradigm. One of them is to make CDF a constitutional provision. That way, we will stop litigants from all manner of games. So those of us who had the privilege to bring this to be by joining Engineer Karue in the 9th Parliament, we want to see you as the 13th Parliament make your contribution also by making this CDF constitutional. The NARCO report is hanging somewhere in Parliament, and I don't know what it is doing. It was done, it was finished. Wewe leader of majority na leader of minority na hiyo watu wengine wote muharakishe hiyo maneno, kwa sababu sasa mnasikia iko kesi, kuna hata kesi ingine sijui itaamuliwa next week. Sasa tutakuwa tunahangaika na hii kesi na tayari tumeshapitisha report. Sasa bunge nyinyi mnasijui mnakunya tu chai hapo hapo kwa members launch, si muende mpitishe hii kitu ndio tuache kuhangaika na makesi, si ndio? That is one responsibility I want to charge you. Number 2, I also want to ask Parliament to use the power of CDF to work with us on making sure that the funding model in the education sector is responsive to the vulnerable. As we reorient the funding model for our universities and TVETs, you too must work with us, because 15 billion every year is a lot of money. So please, let's work together so that no child in Kenya is left behind, merely because of the financial background of their parents or where they come from. Let me also urge you, as members of parliament, the third thing I want to urge you is that there is one challenge we have as a country, and that challenge is millions of young people out of school, out of college, out of university, they don't have jobs. We have an opportunity to participate. I must thank you for working with me and working with this administration to make sure that we have deliberate, intentional programs like the housing program to create jobs. And I want to tell you, members, as I talk to you, we have 140,000 young people working in our housing program, people who are not working last year. I also want to urge you, the other program that is going to create job opportunities for young people in Kenya is the one I have told you about, the digital space, digital jobs, and ICT infrastructure is going to assist us in making sure that we democratize these opportunities to every ward in Kenya. We have changed the law, thanks to Parliament. Now you have the requisite latitude. And I have told the NG-CDF board to prioritize the deployment of the resources that we are making available. And I have committed that every shilling that is due to CDF will be paid before we close the budget. Because I understand the necessity and the importance of prioritizing CDF, because it gives us value for our development. So members, please, let's work together. In fact, my estimation is that if we started now, we just need between 3 and 4 months, and all the ICT hubs will be ready in Kenya. Then the responsibility for me is to make sure that they are equipped with computers, we have deployed ICT internet infrastructure, and we have trainers for the young people in those areas. The other fourth thing I want to ask Parliament, because I rarely get an opportunity like this to talk to members of Parliament, is the challenge of climate change. Members, you know very well, we've just come out of a devastating drought, hardly a year and a half ago. We lost 2.5 million heads of livestock. We had serious challenges with our food security. But straight in, we've ended up in another crisis of floods and mudslides. So if anybody doubted the challenge of climate change, it is starkly with us. And that is the reason why I encourage Parliament to change the NG-CDF Act so that we can have more resources to deal with matters environment. We have concluded the plan with the Ministry of Environment. The Cabinet has just went through it 2 days ago, and now we are ready with the plan. We expect every school that is under the patronage of members here to participate in this exercise, growing of seedlings, and we have a whole elaborate plan on how we are going to manage our environment. You know the danger where we are today. We have many citizens in precarious situations, in riparian reserves, in different parts. And I want to really appreciate the many Kenyans who have stepped forward, and they are working with us to move away so that they can be evacuated and for their own safety be able to be relocated to other areas. I want to urge Parliament to fully deploy its weight and the resources and the leadership of members of Parliament in matters environment. Growing of seedlings, making sure that the tree planting exercise goes on in every part of the country, and I am looking forward to a partnership with you, specifically for my friends in Nairobi, the members of Parliament in Nairobi. Nairobi is our capital city. Unfortunately, among the counties where there is a very big challenge of kids who are not in school, it is in Nairobi. Many kids in informal settlements are not in class. And that's the reason why I made a deliberate intention. And I said we are going to build an extra 3,500 classrooms in Nairobi County. We have allocated the first 1 billion shillings to do the first 1,000 classrooms. I have asked NG-CDF to work with the Nairobi County Members of Parliament, prepare the necessary proposals so that we can fund, and I want this to happen before the end of this budget. In the next 2 months, we must conclude it, so that we can get our children in Nairobi to go to school. Finally, let me thank, in closing, I extend my deepest appreciation to all who have contributed to the success of NG-CDF, particularly the visionary leaders, dedicated committee members, and the resilient communities we serve. Let us continue to work together with unwavering commitment and unity to build a brighter future for all Kenyans. In the era of the Kenya National Vision 2030 and bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the NG-CDF finds itself in its natural strategic habitat. As long as we stay the course and put in the work, and as long as we protect the funds entrusted to us with unwavering vigilance, the Kenya of our dream is within reach. Members, let me appreciate all of you, and I know those who have come from different constituencies of Kenya. Thank you very much. Constituency managers, members of boards, chairmen of different committees in different places. Congratulations for the great work you are doing. You are making all of us proud. Asanteni sana. God bless you. And I am sorry because I have another assignment. I may not take long after this, but please, this is an occasion that deserves celebration because for real, this has made a difference in Kenya. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much and God bless you.
With your permission, Your Excellency.